Hello, 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 and welcome back to day two of Freedom to Change. Yesterday again was so amazing. We have a lot of feedback and comments on people who agree, and the message on yesterday is definitely affecting people's lives. So, without further ado, we're going to turn it right on over to Dr. Michael Faye.
All right, well, good morning to everyone. Thank you all for being here as always. We're going to be talking about the second day about freedom and change. And let me just say this, the homework and everything, for those of you who are serious about really making a change in life, hitting those big goals, I really want to do the homework and then hopefully the tagging for that. So this is kind of a win-win for you if you actually do the work, okay? So with that being said, let me see if I can get my slides ready. Okay, put that there. All right, let's get right to it. So now, welcome to day two. And as you look at this picture, I want you to think about what do you see? There are a lot of things that we can see here. A lot of people have different comments about this. But what I'm more interested in, obviously you see the cat and then you see the lion in the image. But what I'm more interested in is what do you see in terms of the unseen, the hidden virtues in here? When you look at this picture and really delve into this information, there are some unseen things, some unhidden things that you have to deal with. And what do I mean by that? In order to go from that little cat to the lion, you all understand that that is an entirely different species as well. So when we talk about what does it take to get you to that level, to get a kitten to turn into a lion, which is a lion cub that grows up, kitten turns into a cat. So this cat here wants to be a lion. What do you have to do? First thing you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, is understand that if you want to be successful in any undertaking, you have to have a greater self-image. You got to get in touch with the image of yourself, which means you got to be able to see yourself at the end result. And this is where your paradigm kicks in, because if your paradigm won't allow you to see yourself as the king of the jungle, the queen of the jungle, if you will, if it won't allow you to see yourself in that place of success, then guess what? You'll never get there. So this screen or this image, what I want you to take away from it is that you must become more aware of your greater self-image. So that means you got to do away with the past. Don't look at the things on yesteryear or yesterday even. You are a new person. You've made a decision. And I'm going to tell you, if you're here today, then that means you're serious about hitting that goal, whether it's that 30K to 50K a month, whatever it is, you're serious. And that's going to be very important for you going down the line. Now, let me just say this. If you are in a place and your desire is to increase your finances, okay? If your desire is to improve your image, guys, and your desire means that you want to create your life of freedom, then I'm telling you now, you're in the right place at the right time. And the reason I say it is because it's only two things in life that can hinder your progress. And I'm getting ready to take you into a deep dive for the next 30 minutes. And I want you all to get ready to take some copious notes, because the information I'm getting ready to share with you is going to change your financial landscape seriously, okay? Some of this information is in my new book, Plug for Creating a Life of Freedom. So if you don't have that, go ahead and get that. So these two things that hinder your progress. Number one, a lack of awareness, guys. And number two, lack of imagination. Now we're going to take this deep dive. Now let's look at this. I want you to take a screenshot of this and look at this. This is called the 7 levels of awareness. Take a screenshot of this because I'm going to reference this. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a screenshot of it right here. I have it, I know it, but I'm just showing you that it's important. So I'm going to do it with you. Okay. Now that we got a screenshot of this, we're going to take this deep dive. So let's get right into this information. It's going to be a blessing to you. Now, the first level of awareness is called the animal. And the animal awareness, you all, the animal level of awareness is the fight or flight mode. Now, I want you to think about you being a baby or a child. When you was a child, you just reacted. That means you fought or you cried, you did your thing, and you didn't have anything to worry about. But when something happened that you didn't like or whatever, you either wanted to cry or you wanted to fight. Well, when you grow up and you begin to take this same paradigm with you, then something happens when you become a young adult and then to an adult. What happens when you're dealing with money and finances, since that's where we are today, This is the place where you react versus responding. So if someone says something that hurts your feelings, they give you a note, they do things, you either going to want to fight, which is complain and kick back, get them in trouble, retaliate, or you're going to run from the whole situation. And this is important to notice because people at this level of awareness, they react to money problems by running away from them. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about that. If you're in a relationship, a partnership, a business deal, or whatever, if something happens to the finances and people are quick to run, then how can you get stability? How can you really grow a company and get a company off the ground if every time someone tells you no or someone says something about your project, you're ready to fight? You see, remember on yesterday when I said that you have an ability with your conscious mind to accept or to reject. Well, the animal stage of awareness, many people can't reject because they're not aware of how to. So they don't reject the negative saying, they don't reject the no's, and they hold on to them. And next thing you know, they quit the business too soon. They don't write the book. They don't get into partnerships. They become introverts. And next thing you know, they are not achieving what they are called to achieve. This is the first level of awareness. And guys, let me tell you this, if you find yourself in this stage, it's okay. Remember, you have to know where you are in order to start the process to get to where you want to go. So this is the place where you don't want to be. But if you are there and you find yourself reacting more than, responding, which I'm going to share more about that later on, then don't worry. That means you're in the right place and don't beat yourself up, okay? So now, the second level of the awareness is the masses. Now look at this. So when you were a child, your parents told you that you was this and you did that and you cried, you fight, you protested. You took this most likely the same paradigm grows up with you. And then you're taught to go out and just be good with everyone else. Just be, don't raise any problems, don't cause any problems, don't ask any questions, just kind of go with the flow. And this is why the masses level of awareness is the follow the crowd mentality. Now think about that for a moment. The mentality of this level of awareness is not as bad as the fight or flight as the first level of awareness, but the reality of it is in this level, you're just going to go with the crowd. You're going to go with the masses. So now watch. The problem with this one, I want to really drive this point home. You see the frustration when money problems happen, you all, or problems anywhere in your life. This person here with this level of awareness are the ones that won't necessarily react to it. They won't be at the first level of the animal, but at this level, you all, they're the ones when money problems happen or things happen in their life, they cannot think for themselves. And I want you to really think about that because with just these two entries that I'm sharing with you now can identify the people who always want to fuss and fight. They keep up a lot of mess. That's the animalistic level of awareness. And that's where they are. Those who graduate from that level and get to the masses, they see problems, they got problems, but they can't think for themselves. They don't want to problem solve. They want everybody to, people like this. These people at this awareness are the seeker friendly. They are the ones who try to please everyone because they're looking for someone to tell them what to do. They can't think for themselves, you all, which means they make bad managers, they make bad entrepreneurs because they're not accustomed to making the necessary decisions to run that company. Once again, if you find yourself here, don't beat yourself up. Just become aware that, man, this is where I am. I'm not necessarily the person who's going to react and fight or run, but now I got to start thinking, why can't I solve this problem? Why do I have to wait on someone else to tell me what to do as it relates to my finances? Why do I have to wait for a boss to give me a raise when I know my value is worth way more than that? Now, I want you all to really think about this because the majority of your people, remember the M1, M2, M3 strategy I told you? The majority of the people who are employees, you all, who can't see past this level, they're the ones who operate like this. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always an exception to the rule, but for the majority, this is where they are, okay? Now, number 3, this level of awareness, guys, is interesting because many people get stuck here, and this is the aspiration level. The aspiration level of awareness is the desire without action. Now, I know a lot of people, you know a lot of people who have big dreams, they always got an idea, but they have no action. Guys, you see it. This one is important because this is the place where decisions begin. You see this gap, you see this chasm, where the uber wealthy are here and the middle class is almost wiped out, and then you have the low income. You see it, you know you're supposed to be taking this leap, but that old paradigm kicks in and keeps you at a place where you're stuck and you can't take action. So here's the thing, you desire to change, these people desire to change, but for some reason they can't move. And what's most frustrating is that they don't know they can't move. Well, the reason is that they can see benefits, but yet they're still stuck. So you got to ask yourself, okay, I'm not at the first level. I don't fight all the time. I don't just react. I'm not at the second level, guys, where I just go with the masses. But for right now, I know I got big dreams. I know I got things that I'm supposed to be doing, but why am I stuck? Let me tell you something. It gets very frustrating when you see people and see other people jumping and landing, progressing and growing, you know, testimonies after testimonies. You see people doing these things, but for some reason, your awareness will not allow you to take action. Well, guys, I'm getting ready to give you the answer to the problem right now. One of the reasons why, or the main reason why, is your paradigm. You get to this level, you start to see things, you start to become aware, and that old paradigm kicks in and it pulls you right back down to where you were. And it is so frustrating. But guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're here to make a decision. Because you're here right now, you committed to make a decision. You got through yesterday and said, you know what, I'm coming back on today because there's something I know this man is getting ready to say that I need. And because of that, I'm going to give you the answer. Many reasons why people get to this level and they don't move, they can't stuck, other than the paradigm, is because they have not become aware of how to anchor every decision in action. You anchor every decision you make with action. That means if you make a decision that you're going to hit that big goal, you're going to start that business, you're going to write that book, you're going to develop your coaching program or what have you, then you got to make a decision and you got to anchor it with action today. Don't put off tomorrow. What you need to be doing today is what the good book tells us. Well, that is why. So you need aspiration, but aspiration isn't enough. You got to anchor it in action. That's why number 3 gets a lot of people stuck, because they don't anchor it with action, which means they don't do it immediately, okay? Now, let's graduate. Number 4 is that midway point. The level of awareness for number 4, you all, is the individual. I'm going to spend a little time here because I want you to understand the value that you're going to get from this, especially understanding now that your awareness is starting to grow. You're starting to notice things. You're starting to recognize things. Well, the reason why is because the individual level of awareness is the expression of individuality. Understand this now, guys. When you start to get to this level, you start to think different. And I want you to take a screenshot of this screen right here. And I want you to think about, what would life be if I started to act like the leader I'm supposed to be, or the leader I want to become? Now, let me break this down for you. If you want to scale a business, first of all, you got to become laser sharp focused, right? You got to anchor it with action. But if you really want to grow a business and find your way to get to that 30, 40, 50K a month level, you all, okay? You got to start acting like a leader, which means you got to start acting like and thinking like the person who is already in accomplishment or already in possession of those type of funds. That means you got to have a business that's going to scale. That means you got to have a product or a service that's going to scale like that. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to start to lead. Now, one of the things I'll share for an example with this is when I first planted our first ministry, for example, in 2009, when I had 10 members, those 10 members were easy for the most part. But when I got to 25 and 30, I realized that, okay, now I have to put in some systems. I have to put in some strategy, which means I had to activate other leaders, okay? That meant I had to learn how to manage. And in order to manage a department or anything, a business, you need leadership skills. So this is why one of the first mentors I got was John C. Maxwell. And I'm so glad I did, because it taught me systems, it taught me leadership, it taught me how to build people, it taught me how to encourage and empower people, hence the name Power Harvest Empowerment Action Center, okay? So now with that being said, when you get to this level, you begin to realize that you are destined for greatness. I'm talking to some people today who understand now that I've been through the first piece. I've tried going with the masses. That don't work. I'm tired of having dreams and aspirations, but not knowing how to take action, because the reality of it is you weren't aware of how to take actions. Well, now from today on, you know that in order for me to take action, I have to anchor my decisions in action. And that means get busy right now. Do small things, live life a certain way that you always on your way to your goal of becoming that person you want to be. That means you realize that you're destined for greater. Greater means you're destined for bigger. So another thing, when you get to this level, the individual level you are, you realize that what you've been doing is not pushing you forward, okay? Now, please understand, when you're talking about going forward and having things to do, you need a daily routine, but your daily routine should be pushing you toward that goal. That means you have to study a little more. You got to learn in order to earn, but that means you got to be willing to stretch yourself. You got to be willing to get out of your comfort zone and go to that next level. And that means sometimes you have to put yourself in the room. Sometimes you got to put yourself in a stressful place where you're not the smartest, you don't know it all. Matter of fact, sometimes I purposely go put myself in a situation where I know nothing, where it's almost like I'm the dumbest person in the room. Excuse my language, I'm not calling anyone dumb. I don't condone emasculating people, but I'm talking about me. I have to go put myself in rooms where I know nothing so I can stretch myself, so I can hear and see and be in the atmosphere of people who are making the goal that I want, okay? 100K and above. Now, when you get to this level you also understand that most importantly, you realize that you may be called to be a leader and not a follower. You see, when you, with the masses you follow them, we understand that. But when you graduate to that next level and you start having these big dreams and these desires and you realize that something else has to happen, then you begin to take action, you start to move differently. Then that means you have that coming to yourself moment, all right? We call it coming to Jesus moment, okay? Remember, I am a pastor. So anyway, that's when you realize that you're a leader. Guys, I believe everyone is a leader in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, remember, when I first did my piece and did my businesses years ago, 15 or 20 years ago, we didn't have all these nice attributes and all these nice systems and AIs, and the technology wasn't there. So we had to do it the old way. We had to literally go out and meet people individually. But you all are living in the age where you can do all of these things and you can do them in a solopreneur perspective. All you got to do is have the right mentorship and the right coach to guide you and lead you so you can minimize your mistakes. Individuals who act like the leaders they want to be come to this realization. And so that means, I mean, I know a lot of solopreneurs who are millionaires and they have applications and they have virtual things to help manage and run the business, but they still understand leadership. So what happens? Level 4, individual, acting like the leader you want to become becomes bigger. It becomes magnified. And I want you to take a moment, if you're taking notes, everybody do me a favor and just write "think big" in the chat. This is the reason why I got pictures in front of our executive offices and say, look, think big. You got to learn how to think bigger so that you can stretch yourself and grow yourself, right? You want to think bigger so you can express that type of love and everything that you have with other people. So that means you may have to think global. That's a good term for you. That means you may live and operate locally, but you're thinking globally. Guys, with this internet and all this thing, the world has gotten smaller and smaller. And that's why the awareness of number 4 is so important for you. Because remember, this is just a halfway point. Once you master this step, this level, then you move on to level 5, and here's where it gets interesting. All right, it's getting ready to get interesting. Now, hopefully you all getting something out of this right now, and you're ready for this. So now let's go to number 5. Number 5 is one of my favorite levels because from where I am, if anything goes wrong, I know to always go back to number 5. There's no need for me to go back to 1, 2, 3, or 4 to revisit those because I've already mastered those, okay? But for me, if I'm in my company, if I'm doing my sales, or I'm doing a piece of whatever, and something don't happen, I have to go back to discipline. And let me break this down. The discipline level of awareness is, well, let me break it down. The discipline level of awareness is the give yourself a command and keep it attitude. Now, when you talk about giving yourself a command, you do it through building routines and your habitual behavior. But remember, that's where your paradigm controls your habitual behaviors. So you got to have a level of discipline. And I really want you to study this word discipline, because without discipline, you are doomed to fail, okay? Discipline you are. Discipline, I can't stress it enough. Discipline plus attitude equals success. Now, the attitude portion that I want to break down is a little deeper, and I want to just take a moment to share with you. Attitude is a composite. It's a compilation of three things. It's the way you think about a thing, how you feel about this thing, and how you act or what you do with it. Okay. So watch. If you think that you are destined to be a coach or destined to be a business owner, creating 30K, 50K, whatever the goal is, then you begin to feel a certain way because you thought it first and you got emotionally involved with it, which means you pressed it down into your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the place where the paradigm sits. It's the place where your emotions sit. Then that means your body starts to feel a certain way. So you feel good about it because you think you can, you feel good about it. Then guess what happens? Your actions dictate and say that you do. Therefore, you get the level of results that you've been looking for. So attitude is very important, especially if you go back to the first slide on the self-image piece. Your attitude is very important. If you got a good attitude, then you're going to get good outcomes. But on the reverse side of that, if you don't think you can, if you don't think you're deserving, if you don't think that you're willing and able to do the work to get to that level, 50K, 60K, 100K a month, doesn't matter. Then guess what's going to happen? You're going to think this way. You're going to push that down. You're not going to reject that negative thought. Then you're going to start to feel insecure about yourself, about your dream, about your vision. And once that insecurity sets in, that vibration happens, next thing you know, you start acting like a person who don't believe that they deserve to be that wealthy. Then you start making excuses. You start self-sabotaging your own dreams, visions, and desires. Guys, remember this. To earn, you have to learn. So that means you got to be willing to learn how to master the level of discipline so that you can keep yourself on track. Now, at this level, guys, discipline is 75%. It makes you 75% more successful because you have a daily routine. It is your discipline that stops you from getting distracted. See, most of the time, people drop the ball when they veer or move away from their daily routine. See, if you got a daily routine and you got discipline back in that daily routine, then you're not going to get distracted. You're not going to deviate from the course because you're laser sharp focused. There's no need for me to entertain this business, this idea, that pitch. There's no need for me to try to spread myself so thin. No, I need to be mastering my skill sets and mastering the thing that makes me credible, the things that make me better. Guys, look, if it's something you can't do, you can staff your business to your weaknesses. Somebody might need to write that down. If you're making money, you generate these type of funds, then you surround yourself with conscious, competent, effective people who can do their job. If you do that, then this is what's going to happen. It's going to minimize 75% of your unseen problems. Now, I'm speaking from experience here, you all, because now, if you got a daily routine, you're making these income and you stick to the daily routine, that simply means, guys, that, you know what? I can't be affected by things that's going on around in the environment that's not pushing me toward my destiny. Now, let me share something with you. When you do this, people are going to start acting funny. They're going to start telling you, oh, you think you all that. And I'm going to tell you now, your response to them should be, yes, I do. The reality of it is, guys, you make people mad when you no longer need them, especially the ones who've been trying to play you like puppets and pull the strings in your life. When you get to a point where you're so confident in yourself, you get past the individual place and you get to this level of discipline, it makes them uncomfortable because now they don't have an influence with you. Great leaders, successful people know how to make decisions without the influence of everybody. Now, when I make decisions, when they life-changing decisions, do I bounce them off my spiritual leaders? Yes, I do. Do I bounce them off my mentors and coaches? Yes, I do. But I give them the ability to hold me accountable for my actions. That's why mentorship and coaching is so important, guys, because they'll save you a lot of problems because they are where you're trying to get to. Hey, does that land with anybody? Does that resonate with anyone? If that resonates with you, even if you're watching by replay, y'all come on, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Those who are watching on YouTube, come on, give me a 100 emoji. Because we're speaking truth right now, y'all. Discipline will save your life. A lot of people failed because they just was doing so good and blew it on one weekend of non-discipline, of not having enough discipline to say, you know what? It's time for me to leave. I've outstayed my welcome. So guys, I want to tell you something. Discipline turns ability into achievement. I cannot stress that more. When you have ability, but you don't have no discipline, your achievements will be sporadic. They won't be permanent. They won't have longevity. But when you put discipline on your ability to create the wealth that you want, you're going to have achievement after achievement after achievement, and then you will shift your mindset. You'll become the person that says, you know what, 30, 40, 50K, that's not even enough. Now I need to go on to 60, 70. I need to be like Doc Fave. I need to be pressing toward that 100K a month. I'm serious, 200K a month. That's where my goal is, okay? So that's why I'm sharing this information with you all to give you that level of discipline, because it's going to be very important right now. Awareness number 6. The awareness level number 6, you all, is where I just said I was speaking from. It is the experience. Once again, I told you, this is where it gets fun, because discipline alone is going to increase your value and your net worth, you all. But when you get to this level, the experience level of awareness is the hands-on capacity to learn. Now, remember, inside that word learn is earn. So you could say that the experience level of awareness is the hands-on capacity to learn and earn, all right? Now, let's break this down, y'all. You're going to love it. Look at this picture right here. It says experience. And of course, you got an individual who's jumping for joy, got his hands in the posture of achieving, a posture of conquering, a posture of greatness, right? This is the level of experience. If you take any of my coaching classes, I always have our clients do a posture of conquering, a posture of achieving. We say, ooh-ah, ruha, hooray, whatever it is. But you got to understand that experience gives this to you. So when you have this level of experience, right, when you get to this level, that's why I said you don't need to go down past 5, because you won't experience success at on a continuous basis without discipline. So if your company starts to go down or whatever, your sales start to go down, just go back and check your level of a discipline. You may have to tweak some things, but you shouldn't have to go down further than that, right? So now, experience is so amazing, because this is when you enter the realm of quantum leaps. Now, for those of you who read the homework assignment on our YouTube channel, I'm doing a masterclass on quantum leaps, book by Price Pritchett. So that means there's 3 books that I've referenced in the last 2 days. You got Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You got Wallace D. Waddell's book that I'm going to be sharing with you in just a moment, The Science of Getting Rich. And then you also have The Quantum Leap by Price Pritchett. You need these in your library, guys. They're life-changing. So let me break down what a quantum leap is for you very quickly. Quantum leaps, you all, are things that happen with minimal effort, all right? Because the goal is to see, we've been given a bad strategy that says, work hard, work hard. I could share a story with you that about a fly on a seal that worked harder trying to get out that window, when all he had to do was go the other way and fly 10 feet, he would have been free. But his strategy was to keep trying harder to get out that closed window. A lot of us are in businesses. A lot of us are connected to things that is antiquated, that's not moving forward, and you need to tweak it. And quantum leaps, when you hit this realm, the level of experience you get, it breeds quantum leaps. Oh my goodness, things just come to you. After you make your first 10K a month, the rest of it is easy, guys. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, I wish y'all could hear my piece. But quantum leaps in your life, you want to have consistent quantum leaps. That means things that's happening for your favor, all right, for your good. Now, when you get to this level of awareness and the experience, this is when the mastermind begins to reveal things to you. So masterminding is another technique that we share. I won't go into too deep of it right now, but just let me tell you this. When 2 or 3 are gathered, things happen, right? We used to call it the third eye when I was coming up. You just said, man, you conscious now, you woke. That's what woke to me really means. I don't know what it means today, but that's what it means. So the mastermind, that third person, when 2 come together, or 3 or 12 or whatever, a different entity comes in and that brings a different and amazing knowledge and creativity to you. So a lot of times when I get together, I'm getting ready to do stuff, I'll call one of my mastermind partners and we chop it up. We talk about it. We start thinking creative, start thinking about things and concepts to bring to you, to teach, to share, that's going to empower other people and make people better. That's what that mastermind is, guys. And the level of experience brings it out. So the level of experience, when you get to this level of awareness, this is when you realize that there are unseen forces out there that is here to help you. Y'all, I think it's not strange that sometimes we say, oh, they were born with that, they lucky. No, they've gotten and tapped into a place for the most part, where things behind the scenes are working for their good. It could be momentum. It could be in the right place at the right time, like you all are today. You're getting some information that a lot of people have never heard put like this. And I told you all this is what I was going to do, okay? But there are unseen forces that if you put them in action and put them in play by developing your individuality, getting your discipline together, getting the experience. That's one of the reasons why I do these free pieces right here, y'all, because every day I share this information with someone and have a genuine concern about you getting better, experiencing what I'm experiencing. It's honing my craft. It's giving me more and more experience, right? That's what you want to do, and you want those things to help. Now, the last piece about the experience level of awareness, this is so important. You begin to embrace the illogical. See, right now, there's no logic that says, to some people anyway, that you can go from 30K a year to 30K a month. People on the level 1 and level 2 awareness, they can't understand that because it's not logical to them. The reason being is they're thinking incrementally. They're thinking in steps. I'm telling you to think in quantum leaps, big moves that you can say, you know what, within 6 months, you can go from 30K a month, a year. Yeah, I can teach you that in 6 months. Yes, here. But you got to remove that old way of thinking. That's that old paradigm. And I'm telling you, you get to this level of experience, this is when your belief and your behaviors start to bring you success. All the hours you studied, all the planning that you did, all the investing in yourself with coaches, and man, it starts to come to a whole. It's like putting pieces of a puzzle together. And next thing you know, you got a finished product like the Sistine Chapel or the Mona Lisa, Monet or something like that. It's amazing. Tell me, experience will bring you that, okay? Now, excuse me. I thought I had to sneeze. Now, the last level, and I told you I wouldn't take my time because this is very important. The last level is the level of mastery, okay? And this level of mastery, you all, this is the mastery level of awareness is the ability to respond versus reacting to any situation. This is ultimately where we all want to be, all right? And the reason is, when you get to the level of mastery, you go through all the steps. You was an amateur, you was a novice, you're a learner, you skilled, but now you're considered an expert. See, this is when you become so valuable. Remember the law of compensation. You are irreplaceable almost, you're too valuable. And this is when marketplace will see value and they will pay your price. Seriously. I'm gonna tell you, one of my mentors told me, he said, Favor, there's not a problem with the price. The price is never the problem. If you're not getting any sales, it's the level of mastery. You haven't given them enough awareness that the value. See, so if what you're paying is this big, but the value is this big, that's an investment. That's a no-brainer. If I'm paying this much for value this big, if I tell you that I got something that you pay 10K, but it's gonna help you get to 100K, that 10K is no problem for you either. You're gonna do whatever you gotta do to get to it. The level of awareness for mastery teaches you how to respond. It is the opposite of number 1. So when people respond, you all, they take time to plan. If something happens, they sit back, look at the scenario, and then get it out of their head, put it on paper, and then they find a way to solve the problem. These are the solutionists, okay? When COVID-19 hit, I'll never forget, something that I had been doing for 4 or 5 years, and people was calling me crazy, all this and that. When COVID hit, you'd be surprised. I had hundreds of people, leaders, y'all, calling me favors. How is it that you still making money progressing during COVID? What you doing? Say, man, I've been trying to tell y'all for the past 4 or 5 years. You need to start learning how to trade Forex. They said, okay, well, can you teach us? Next thing you know, y'all, I built a team, man, 1,000 to 1,400. I took a position and over in the corporation, you all teaching people. And next thing you know, man, people start getting their life back on track with a skill set that many of them are still using to this day. So when you get to this level of mastery, you all, this is when proactivity meets proper planning and preparation. When you properly plan, right, and you are proactive, even if something do come, it's no problem. So say, for example, you, like my son's truck. This past, what was it, Halloween, truck was sitting on the street. Some girl was flying through the neighborhood, intoxicated, of course. And it was the 4th of July, excuse me. Next thing you know, she hits the rear end of my son's truck and flips her Jeep all the way over. Gets out the Jeep, you all, leave the scene and come back 30 minutes later like ain't nothing happened. Now, I could have threw a fit. I could have been like, oh, da, 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 da. But the reality of it is, as a person with the level of awareness, I didn't react to the situation. I just responded. Okay, is she okay? She's all right. All right. Well, y'all get this stuff together, get the truck towed, because the truck was totaled out. And within a week or two, went and bought another vehicle for the boy. You see, that was because of proper planning and preparation. Because when in business, you all, please always understand this. When times are good, you store. So when times are not so good, you can then rely on what you stored up. So then it evens out. That's the balance of the thing, okay? And we got ways to show you how to do that. Let me get through this now. Now, this is when you get to this level of mastery, this is also when the student becomes the teacher. You will know when it's time for you to take on these things and do this, because your level of awareness is at this point. You realize, I got something. And how do you realize it, Favors? Because people start asking you questions about your industry. They start asking you questions about what you're doing. I had people ask me years ago, man, how you playing golf in the middle of the day, 12 o'clock? Why are you not at work? When I moved to Jacksonville, well, sir, excuse me, but I'm semi-retired. I learned early how to be proactive, how to plan, and how to prepare. So I got my money affairs in order, all right? And I got multiple sources of income, okay? That makes me credible. That puts me at the expert level where I can then turn around and teach like I'm doing, like I've done other people how to do this. Guys, we didn't just open up Essential Leaders Institute this year. This institute was first launched in 2016. It just took me a while to get my ducks in a row where I could go through the same thing I'm telling you all, where I could help people master these skills and get to the next level, okay? So the level of mastery, this is when you start thinking about your legacy. Once again, how many people can I help? That's what I think about today. It's not about the money for me. How many people can I help? Because I understand that the more people I help, money is a byproduct of the level of mastery, okay? So then, it is at this level, you all, this is when you know you have value that is essential. I want you to underline, highlight, take a picture of this. This is when you know that your value is essential to your sphere of influence. Once again, during that time, I knew my skill set was valuable when I saw so many people calling, so many people asking me, can I show them what I'm doing? I knew that it was that valuable, and I took advantage of it and I taught them. And teaching them helped me also hone in on my other skills. So guys, now that we understand about awareness, let me show you how to put all this together. You use your imagination. Let's talk imagination. You have to be able to use your imagination to see, because there's a process. You can imagine it and see yourself there before you actually get there, okay? So when you look at all of the 7 levels of awareness and you get to that last piece, you all, putting all that together lets you know 2 things. Number one, it lets you know, it lets you know where you are. And then it lets you know where the people are around you. You need to surround yourself, here it is, with A+ performers with levels of mastery in their industry. So if I'm going to be in the industry right now, I made up my mind, personal growth and development. I still pastor, yes, but that means I'm going to master, I'm going to be the best I can in my sphere of influence. That means I study every day for a certain amount of time. I'm always reading something. I'm always thinking about something. I'm always trying to see, how can I do it better, right? That's what this is. So when it comes to imagination, I want you to look at this picture right here. See, this is one of the things that you have to do now that you're at a level of awareness you understand. Now, I can help you get through those levels progressively, but here's the thing. Can you imagine that someone had to have this in their mind before they built this structure? This looks like it's built on the side of a mountain, atop a waterfall, in some nice remote location. Can you imagine that? Where would your second home be? Not your first home. Where would your second and third house be? I want you to imagine this. I want you to think about that. This is how important your imagination is, because remember, you have to give those higher income goals a purpose, a mission, and a vision. You can't just say, I want money to get money. That's not how it works, okay? You gotta have a purpose for it. That's why we spend so much time on mindset now, because people realize that we realized that people who didn't have a purpose for their money, just wanted it, they would just take bad investments, like it's gambling. You don't have time to gamble, you all. You got to make some sound investments, right? And you need your money to work for you. So here's the thing. imagination is one of the higher factors. Now, I'm not going to go into that, but it's 6 of them, right? And we teach you how to master this and how to use these skill sets like intuition and the will, reason, some of these other higher factors. All of them come together and they work with the universal laws so that when the law of vibration, the law of attraction kicks in, the law of compensation kicks in, this is how we learn. This was the one key that I was missing years ago on how to amass this wealth, okay? And I'm giving it to you. I'm sharing it with you all, man. Now, imagination is one of the higher faculties. It is also the action of forming new ideas. So when you talk about imagine things, these new ideas are formed, you all, and they're formed in your conscious mind, but you press them down. When you press them down, it then becomes what gives you the ability to form images and concepts of external objects not present to the 5 senses. So do you all remember me saying that you got unseen forces that's wanting to help you? These unseen forces are in a realm or on a frequency where your 5 senses, see, hear, smell, taste, touch, they can't be identified with your 5 senses. See, if you'd have wrote this and told somebody you want to build this image right here, they'd have told you it couldn't have been done. So there are a lot of things in your life that you want to do, that you called to do, that people around you telling you can't do that. That's against the laws of physics. I'm telling you, you can do it, because if you can imagine it, then you can set it from imagination. If you can dream it, you can set it from that place and then turn it into a big goal. And once you turn it into a goal, you're going to stretch to that level, and then it's going to become a fact. Once it's a fact, that means it's done, you did it, it manifested. Now we're talking about the law of manifestations. How do you manifest things from your mind? Y'all got this is what this is all about. And I'm getting a little excited because I not only have experience, but it works. I'm living in one. I'm telling you, it works, and you need to know it works. So anyway, let me do this. Imagination is said by me to be the greatest nation known to humanity, because it's in this piece where you can create. Remember, we were created in the image of God and in his likeness. He is the supreme creator. That means we are co-creator. We can create things. He gave us these higher faculties so that we can reason and imagine and create, use our willpower to create things that eyes haven't seen. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave y'all. All right, so imagination is very important for you all to get these big goals. Now, let me tell you something. I like to travel. My wife and I, we found a new love in travel. And we set a bucket list that we want to go to as many beaches, beautiful beaches, right? And we realized that the only thing that was standing in our way of achieving these dreams was our inability to dream consistently. I'm telling you right now, you can hit those goals you want. You can hit them, but the only thing that's standing in your way is your ability or inability to dream consistently. So we dream, but when something bad happens, we stop dreaming. No, don't go back to that old paradigm. Keep your mindset where it is, master the level of awareness, and start to respond instead of reacting. And next thing you know, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to start envisioning yourself going to places like this, and it's just going to happen. So the easiest and quickest way to dream again is through your imagination. So if you're not aware, you say, well, Doc Faye, I'm not, how do I dream like that? That just means you're not aware yet, and yet it just means you need a strategy. And I'm just a guy to teach it to you, okay? So now, I want you to imagine something. Let me just pause right here and share something with you, bro. It's the day 2. I gotta let you know what we're talking about. I want you to imagine. Imagine having access to a program that will show you how to get the results you desire. Imagine having a 6-month coaching program with us that has been tried and proven 60-some years in the making, been helping thousands of people, because I'm sharing with you all everything that my mentors shared with me over the years, man. I'm pouring it out. I put it into this piece, 6 months. Imagine taking 6 months out of your life, changing the rest of your life for the rest of your life. Imagine what your life looks like when you start hitting that 10K, that 20K. Then you start getting that 30K, 40K. You all, let me tell you something. You can only spend so much money on your own wants and needs, because after that, it gets boring. Then you start thinking. Like one of my mentors told me this. He said, Faye, the first half of your life, you be trying to get it. The second half, you're going to be trying to figure out how to give it away. At 46 years old, you all are starting to understand what he meant by that. Because you get, once you go golfing, you go sailing, you go do this, you go buy that, you go all the Gucci's and Pradas and all that stuff, man. It's only so much you can do before you start to get bored, I'm telling you. Now, of course, well, you can say that papers because you got it. I understand, but I'm telling you now, if you imagine yourself being that valuable that you can help other people, it's the greatest fulfillment ever. And we got a coaching program called Essential Coaching. We're going to teach you how to get the results you want by making you essential to your sphere of influence. I want you to consider that, you all. Now, think about this, right? We have another program for you people who say, you know what, Doc Favors, I've been looking at you. I've been following you on YouTube, and I think I want to do what you do. Because you're telling me that it's lucrative. Yes, okay. So watch. We got another program called World Class Freedom Coaching that we can literally show you how you have freedom to change, right? Your environment and what you already know. You see, some people will sell you a piece and they tell you that, hey, I'm gonna give you this and do this, but and they keep you at a certain point, right? What I'm gonna do in this program, I poured myself into this program, and what I'm gonna do is show you how to monetize what you already know. Make you that valuable by taking you through those steps of awareness to whereas people are going to seek you for what you have because you got the answer to their problem. Just imagine where your life would be if you had access to a program that could show you how to get paid for what you already know. Yo, for some of you all, this is your retirement plan right here. This is the way that you're going to level up and get past it. Now, for all of you all who talk about, I need money right now, I need it fast, you're going to find yourself in trouble. The easiest and greatest way to amass wealth is done. Here's Wallace Waddle. You do it over a certain period of time. You do things a certain way over a certain period of time. That's why you need discipline. That's why you need some other things. So with the 6-month program, I go deep and show you what you have, show you your value. And I literally show you. I got people in our clients right now, guys, that 3X, 4X they stuff. They traveling the world, man. In our programs right now, that's doing what we're showing them how to do, that's making an impact in their sphere of influence. And I believe you can do the same thing, okay? So that being said, you all, let me say this. You got some decisions to make. And you're here because you're ready to make these decisions. But here's my question. Are you aware that you have a life-changing decision to make? Are you aware of that? And I want y'all to really answer that. I want you to really think about that because you wouldn't be here if you were not aware of these life-changing decisions. Now watch, the right decision at the right time can change your life for the rest of your life. How many of you all understand that? How many of you all believe that? It's the right decision. Hey, there goes some of our clients right there. The right decision. Those of you all who are in this Facebook group, trust me, you're not in this Facebook group just by happenstance. You saw something, you seen something I said resonated with you and landed with you that prompted you to want to come over here into this space. Those of you on YouTube, the same thing. But I'm telling you right now that if you make the right decision and invest in your greatest commodity, which is yourself, you change your life, okay? So some of you say, what's next? Well, remember, taking action is the next step. You got to do it now. We got to put together a plan so we can get you to where you need to be. And your next step, I'm gonna tell you, is to think big. And you see the rest of it on the floor on the screen. So you got to start thinking bigger. You say, well, what's gonna happen if I think bigger? Guys, thinking bigger means having a bigger mission. It means having a bigger purpose. And it also means having a bigger vision. See, some of you all are not hitting these goals because you're thinking too small. You're around small-minded people who think small of you, who don't encourage you, who don't push you. I'm guilty to a fault of pushing our clients into a certain place. They get mad at me. Look, I'm telling you, I'm going to push you because I believe in you wouldn't be here if there wasn't greatness. God wouldn't connect us because I don't waste my time and I don't let any other people waste my time, which means I'm not going to waste your time either. But you got to start thinking big. You got to start thinking big money. Ooh, wait a minute, Doc. Big money? What? Now you sound like one of them prosperity teachers. Let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to share from the bottom of my heart. When I was first getting involved with this, my paradigm said I didn't want to be called a prosperity preacher because back in the early 2000s or mid 2010s, That was the thing going around. And it took one of my mentors to say, you know what, that's a lie from the devil. Now, I'm going to preach to y'all, but I'm going to tell you. He said, why? Because prosperity and wealth and abundance is in our Bible. But secondly, the people who are saying this stuff are the very people who need wealth and to know how to do it. And once I got over that hump, you all, I realized that thinking big and thinking bigger was not all about wealth and money. You know, in this context, big money, what does that mean? Big money means you have a bigger assignment for your life. And it takes, see the shift? I just shifted some of you all right then and there. Because remember, you got to have a purpose for big money. But I believe that the purpose, the call, the assignment that's on your life is big, and you need 50K a month. You need the 60K a month. Some of you all going to be opening up centers. You're going to be teaching emotional coaching. Some of you all going to be teaching and mentoring the next Bill Gates, the next, Zuckerberg. Some of you all going to be mentoring them. And you need resources. You need a building. You need a place to teach on a regular basis. You need an executive office, y'all. Trust me. You're going to need one. Doing big events, you all cost money. Please believe it. Everybody who coming for free don't see the back end of it. It's money. But I'm telling you now, big money says you got a bigger assignment for your life, and you got to switch that. You got to get to that frequency, okay? So now, let me hit you all with a real thing. When I say you got to have a decision to make, you do not want to get caught in a place where you have monthly bills, and your monthly bills are more than your monthly income. That is not a good place to be in. I've been there before. That is not a happy place. It brings stress, anxiety, hypertension, all of that. And you're trying to figure out how to get out the rat race, because those bills just keep on coming and they keep on piling up. Don't let a serious piece happen. The AC go out or something like that, the HVAC. Now you're in trouble. All these payday loans and stuff like that, y'all, don't get caught up with like that. Don't get caught like that. You need to make a decision. Decide now that you're going to learn how to manage wealth, learn how to get to these higher levels. Because trust me, the more you make, the more you're going to have to learn how to keep it. Because Uncle Sam going to want them taxes. So we teach all that. We go through all that, right? Now here's another slide. What happens when a loved one, say when my mother passed? My mother taught me a very important lesson, and I'm going to say this to y'all. This is a very sensitive subject. It took me about 1.5 years to get over the grief of my mother's passing. Hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life, but I saw fit to share this with you all because my mother taught me something. Mama, I got my doctorate degree. I took it home, got home on a Tuesday, on a Monday evening. We had breakfast Tuesday, and everything like that. I went to preach at a buddy's church at 7 p.m. Around 7 o'clock. My mother passed away, okay? She went back in the room and laid down. Listen, my mother was cooking greens. We was gonna have a graduation party for me in Detroit. So she sat there. We got pictures of it, my wife and I. She put a pot, she was sitting there chucking them greens. We went to breakfast. She put that pot of greens on. She went and laid down. I went to go preach and she went on. When I say she taught me a very valuable lesson, my mother's affairs were in order. When we got ready to bury her and I had to eulogize my own mother, you all, all we had to come out of pocket, I think, was like $45 because she had her insurance, she had everything, she had her plot, she had the funeral home, she left everything in order. Boy, my fault. I get a little emotional, guys. And that taught me a lesson. My mother put it on, went in her room, in her house, in her bed, laid down, went to sleep peacefully. If there's ever a thing to do, that's how you want to do it. Now, watch this. The reason why I got this on the screen is because you do not want to get caught having stress because your affairs were not in order when these things happen. We getting older, people. And so medical billing, things happen. You do not want to be the one who did not master wealth and learn how to prepare for situations like this called retirement. My mother did that. She taught me a lesson. My wife and I, we are now in a mindset to say, you know what? We got to start thinking about these things more deeply and putting systems in place. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to have enough funds to do that? What I'm telling you now is don't get caught off guard. Don't get caught slipping, you all, where you do not take the time now, okay, to get your affairs in order. Now, here's the thing. You got a decision to make. These programs that we're talking about, you all, they are life-changing, but they will not work if you don't work. If you do the work, that's all it takes. And I'm gonna tell you, when you first start, yeah, it's a little tedious because you're learning information that you've never seen before. I got information, you all, that only the 1% know about. That's why they are the 1% that creates and generate all the wealth. Because a lot of people, kryptonite is reading and learning. Remember, you got to learn to earn. So guys, I'm telling you now, I want you all to consider this. All right. 10x your value. You deserve to 10x your value. That's the decision you got to make. Mentor, and you all know her. Oprah Winfrey says, I think mentors are important. Don't think anybody makes it. I don't think anybody makes it in the world without some form of mentorship. Nobody makes it alone. Still, what's she saying, y'all? Nobody has it alone. And when we are all mentors to people, even when we don't know. Did you all hear that? That is a clarion call to change your life. Now, here's what it is, you all. I'm done. I want you all to book a call with me ASAP. Those who are in the Facebook group, my new link, because we're going to do 30-minute videos. I want to see you all face to face. The piece to book a call with me and my team is in the Facebook group. It is in the features section at the top of the page. As soon as you get on there, book a call sooner than later. It's a free 30-minute session, so you're not losing nothing. But I'm telling you right now, if you're ready to make a change and create a life of freedom, you book that call. For those of you all who are on YouTube, you can get I'm gonna leave it a link. The link is in the description below. And sometimes you have to push the word more so it'll drop down. And with that being said, you all, hey, this has been a pleasure to share with you all, to serve you all today. And my hope and my desire is that something happens that says to you, you know what? I'm ready to make that change. I heard it, I see it, I can sense it, and I'm ready to get involved. So with that being said, this doc favors you all. Once again, let's stay positive on purpose and not by accident, and we'll see you next time.